inflation is raging, and other coaches are trying to ram their boot camps down your throats. In this video, I expose the real reason why they're pushing boot camps so aggressively now, and even till the 2024 recession. Before you dismiss, stick around and listen to this entire story, where you will not get the lesson behind it, and you will regret it later on being brainwashed and manipulated into wasting over $5,600 on a boot camp, not knowing what this one crucial lesson is which you would regret. Imagine there are two dating coaches. This is just a made-up scenario for the second dating coach, since nobody is this psycho or socio for the second one. The first one, John Elite, is a real dating coach who has 600 laid and pulled testimonials for Daygame. Since you would be scrolling for 8 minutes in a row on your cell phone, looking through all of them for John Elite's Daygame laid testimonial page. In fact, you probably would never get to the end if you have ADHD. Then you have another coach that has 30-something laid and pulled testimonials for Daygame for the last decade. In fact, you can scroll up 3 times on their testimonial page and see everything, including all of their screenshot testimonials too. Always the same 30-something testimonials, some lays, some pulled for Daygame. It's always reposted over and over again, turning their sociopath audience into sheeps worshipping. But when you do the math, it doesn't make sense, because one has so much more than the other for the John Elite one. But the second dating coach insists that he is the best for some unknown reason that doesn't quite add up. Don't worry, I will tell you exactly why this reason is and how the scam works. Watch the entire video for it. If you ever thought about taking a Daygame Bootcamp, since I am the only Daygame coach in the world that can get people laid consistently without a bootcamp. I do teach bootcamps, but I can get you laid without one, because they have to go through the specific unethical process for their Daygame Bootcamp in order to make it work, since their Daygame products don't actually work. Don't worry, I would explain why, because the answers are coming. It's like 2 competing car manufacturers, John Elite versus the other guy. One of them produced a lot more cars with higher quality in a lot more tougher races in tougher countries, getting their students to the finish line in first place, or nearly 600 instances of that for John Elite students. Or they got very close, which is called a pull, which is like getting second place in that race. The other dating coach only had 30-something students cross the finish line, some just pulled for second place, but the one that produced 30-something victories for their students still insists they are a god for Daygame. It sounds irrational, but they insist that they are the best because they are moving all the goalposts to suit their 30-something laid testimonials in alcohol camps or boot camps, or the definitions of what is a good student results that only suits their alcohol maxing scam, which still doesn't add up. Don't worry, the answers are coming soon, as I said. And they claim that you have to use specific driving techniques using romantic flirts, with a progressive flirting system going for same-day lays. But you know that romance equals boot camps. Boot camps equals alcohol. Alcohol equals Stockholm Syndrome. They claim their training camps makes their students great for Daygame. In reality, it was a conversion mechanism called a game crutch. A game crutch basically means a component or a missing piece of the puzzle. You take that piece away, their Daygame system doesn't work. Oftentimes, the game crutch is taught in the boot camp, when you see where the Daygame crutch or conversion mechanism is located. So if it is the end game area like chess, then their Daygame courses with their game tactics won't be transferable before the conversion mechanism for the mid-game and early game. Or they put a NOS in the car. NOS is a liquid that goes in the engine and makes the car go faster for Daygame, cheating in a race, which is not ethical, and only through this misleading process, or training, where they secretly install the NOS in your car for their Daygame Bootcamp, cheating the process with unethical alcohol maxing and heavy escalation of drunk women. The NOS in the car is a symbol for alcohol, if you don't get it yet, where anything before the conversion mechanism, like romantic flirts, and progressively escalating with romantic flirts during the instant date, which doesn't work. You go through their Daygame courses and they call it proof of victory when nobody can ever get laid with it. Don't worry, I would explain, so keep listening. Imagine the weird thing that makes them stuck is that it's like using alcohol in the bedroom, where nobody knows they're doing that. As you've seen their olden fields with a big bottle of alcohol at the nightstand next to the bed every single time. Yes, that is what they teach their students in their boot camps, along with escalating super hard. How is this not borderline great? That is the NOS. It's like their Daygame courses don't produce results for their students, because they don't teach the NOS trick or conversion mechanism. They show people how great the cars are by using this trick or this game crutch. They even claim they won the races, and their students did too, recording it, calling it proof. It is not proof, but evidence, since proof is beyond the shadow of a doubt. But what they don't show for proof, since their audience never looked under the hood to see the NOS, but they never show you that they need to go through this exact process in their Daygame boot camps to install the NOS. Everything they teach is just to get her into the room. Nothing they teach before this NOS conversion mechanism is transferable. But the problem with the process is they are cheating everybody. Just like alcohol in the Daygame Bootcamps, then escalating super hard on drunk women. This cheats the process because you're trying to put some NOS in the car. In other words, getting her so drunk and escalating to win the race. What I mean by that is, nitrous oxide makes the car go very fast, like those Fast and the Furious movies. But they teach you all these irrelevant drifting techniques and all this driving techniques for your car like romance, push-pull. But none of their courses actually works because they don't include the game crutch or the NOS for the end game. They only got 30-something people to cross the finish line. And they secretly cheat with the nitrous oxide or alcohol in the bedroom crutch. When she's drunk, she can't resist when you escalate super hard. That's what you learn for $5,600. Borderline great. In their own minds, they're the best because they say they get results because they can finish the race. But reality, they're cheating because they're using NOS. All the times they get a girlfriend is from this NOS game crutch. If she doesn't drink, it won't work out. They escalate super hard in the bedroom, creating Stockholm Syndrome. They call this retention game. I know, sick right, but keep listening, there is more. The first guy, John Elite, with 600 students crossing the finish line, isn't the best driver in the world. He still has infields to show he can do it. However, John Elite makes up for it because he is the best teacher or day game coach in the world. A coach is a person who puts you through a training program that gets you laid fast. My advantage is you can win the race without paying $5,600 for it. Nothing others says can change John Elite students' track record for winning races year after year. John Elite knows all about their NOS and how without it, the other guys can't win. John Elite knows they are unethical and can beat them every single time, year after year being ethical, without using alcohol crutches or even boot camps or alcohol camps to install it. There is no conversion mechanism except to get the students above 20 out of 35 points. Looks is out of 10, money is out of 5, status out of 10. Social skills, social calibrations, emotional control, and game tactics are worth 2.5 points each. If you can get 20 points, you automatically get laid for day game no matter what right away. If not, you would struggle not meeting the threshold. This is why the other day game coaches' day game courses doesn't work. Just focusing on game is 2.5 points without the alcohol conversion mechanism. They are sociopathic cheaters and there won't get much more laid testimonials besides the 30-something. Because they are cheaters using this NOS conversion mechanism, which will set you back $5,600 laughing all the way to the bank. But nobody knows that. That is what you learn in their boot camps, which is how to put NOS in your car. All of their day game courses, student and fields are not proof. It's evidence like Exhibit A, Exhibit B, Exhibit C. What is proof beyond a shadow of a doubt is what they don't show you. It's like a magician misdirecting you to the infields on this side. But on the other side, the real magic trick is the alcohol maxing, heavy escalation crutch, which is getting women drunk as a skunk. Before you press the NOS button that gives your car a boost, just like those Fast and the Furious movies, or conversion mechanism in your car, cheating. While it isn't totally illegal to use alcohol, but escalating super hard to cross that finish line might be. These sociopathic dating coaches teach their students to escalate super hard, but keep it below the level of great. This is not something I deemed ethical, and their audience are so stupid saying, "Oh my god, this is so amazing." They say that with their sociopath death stare, they went over the finish line. By reality, they cheated over the finish line. Not all of them finished, some just pulled. In reality, this gets more money. Their audiences are super stupid, even if John Elite knows it was the NOS or conversion mechanism. Their sociopathic audience are sheeps, they worship in fields. Worshipping in fields equals romantic flirts products. Romantic flirt products getting you stuck equals boot camps. Boot camps equals alcohol maxing. Alcohol equals Stockholm Syndrome where she sides with the captor. In fact, this is a popular method used by other sociopathic, manipulative dating coaches, except without the alcohol. But the worshipping thing is true. The more famous ones makes you worship. And all the money they make are from the boot camps. The ones without a conversion mechanism, simply one of many laid testimonials, mass approaching it. John Elite knows he'd rather win ethically instead, because he is not a sociopath, since they don't have a feeling of guilt or remorse manipulating others. My students aren't allowed to use nitrous oxide in their car. They win through skills. The truth is for others, they cannot win through skills because they have to cheat. And because their students are cheating with this NOS alcohol crutch process, their students can never ever do it again without the NOS that they learn in their alcohol NOS installing bootcamp or training area. Their students don't know any better that this is not totally legal and this is cheating to win, or a sociopathic win at all cost mentality. Since their students also has a death stare of a sociopath, they don't feel guilt doing it. To them, results is results, even 30-something crossing the finish line. But they don't care because they think they're going to win the race. They have this misguided mentor mentality worship instead. They think if the coach can do it, they can do it. They just pay a fortune just to be able to learn how to install NOS into their car or this conversion mechanism. They might not even know they are cheating. thinking it is normal to get her drunk then escalate super hard, brute forcing it in the bedroom until she complies like a sociopath. Regardless of that, my students are still getting laid like crazy. For others, the romance techniques and their tactics do not actually work without the nos or without the alcohol. Since you don't fit into the boyfriend-girlfriend frame, you would 99% get stuck in the bedroom. Then you have to brute force it with alcohol, which shows nothing before this point in the day game interaction is even transferable. So you look at that point for the nos or the conversion mechanism, which is near the end. Everything before that exact point is a scam and not transferable. Romance, push, pulls, romantic flirts, escalation progressively with romantic flirts, pulling her home just to get stuck. So you have to brute force it in the bedroom. That is why their day game products never works. They can cover this fact with worshipping in fields. They turn into sheeps. Their testimonials from their courses is their bootcamp stuff. They have 0 students lay from it by using their newest day game course alone. Where will you be funneled to? If they stuffed it with bootcamp stuff for their testimonials for the day game product, it all gets you stuck before you press the NOS switch. I feel sorry for their students or potential students because they're gonna be sold the dream, seeing other stupid sheeps in boot camps or alcohol camps. Of course, they won't show the alcohol in the bedroom. Now they rather just cheat the process with NOS, or alcohol camps for $5,600 or $800 a day. They think they are getting trained or leveling up their skills. Nope, they are only trained to get to a pull with romantic flirts and to press the NOS button getting her drunk, then escalating super hard for intoxicated women in the bedroom. I'm not hating, this is not jealousy because I have more laid testimonials and pull testimonials for day game, 15 times more to be exact. You can't hate on others that are 15 times below you for laid testimonial count. I'm just trying to inform you that you should maybe reconsider until their day game course with their game actually gets anyone else laid first. You shouldn't automatically think boot camps without critical thinking. Is it possible they get you stuck on purpose like a sociopathic cult leader? Did they do it on purpose because it lines their pockets more? $5,600 a head, $800 a day. They are laughing all the way to the bank like they got you worshipping and unable to even have critical thinking. Like yes, they turned off your brain and manipulated you like sheeps. With that $800 you could have easily get laid with Elite Bundle 2, which is $900 without a bootcamp. But it works without having you pay $5,600 for it. I might as well post another 30 more laid testimonials, some that have never been released yet, 30 more to match everything that they have. Because now they're reposting old student victories using the NOS alcohol crutch. How do I know this crutch? I have my ways. All my predictions so far have been 100% correct. This is why it's important not to worship dating coaches. Their audiences are weak-minded sheeps. They have to submit to false authority. They are weak-minded sociopaths with a death stare who are easily triggered types. When they get home learning the NOS, they can't do it again or that often, unlike my students, who can get laid over and over again, proven over and over again. You never know when you're dealing with a sociopathic guru, a cult leader. What are the traits of a sociopath? A lack of remorse or guilt, win at all cost, delusional, opinions as facts, half-truth false stories that sounds believable, sensational. What happens with other white dating coaches is that they do not have this NOS or conversion mechanism. It's very simple, they just don't get student results in their boot camps. However, every single one of my coaching works. Whether it's Kaizen or Elite Bundle 2 or Elite 30 for $300, they all work. Because they don't need the NOS. You are saving money by not having to pay $5,600. You get laid here for a lot less, making it unnecessary to take their unethical boot camps or alcohol maxing camps. The only reason you think you need a boot camp is because you are full of cortisol and think it would be easier to have someone with you. Also, you half-ass your way through life, so you think it's harder if you do it alone with my 30-day challenge. But that is not true because my day game courses has more laid testimonials than their boot camps alone. If you need more help, take the Elite Bundle 2 that also has a year of consultation for Elite Access bundled with it, along with 10 Skypes. I'd rather get you laid faster with the cure than to put you through a long treatment like them charging more money. Ask yourself, who benefits from that? Not you. I've already won these last few years anyway, including this year during the inflation. No one could take away my students' accomplishments. Their day game courses within fields are the scam, the NOS scam as they laugh their way to the bank, knowing they got you. You can't do anything about it, as they know how to shut down your brains and manipulate you. Sociopaths are the ultimate manipulators. For ethical John Elite, with 600 laid pull testimonials, he knows that the NOS in their alcohol boot camps, which installs it by cheating, it limits that other guy's testimonials. It's all a farce, a big circus that isn't even proof. But their audience either doesn't care, since they are weak-minded fools and need to submit to authority like sheeps. Yet my students continue to have consistent results. It doesn't stop because my students have more than just game or driving techniques. I have no alcohol crutches or no NOS policy for my students. I'd rather you take your time to drill down your driving skills. Habits take time to form until it becomes second nature for social skills and social calibrations. I get that people are lazy due to ADHD. If they are using NOS, then it isn't game. Or their game doesn't work using romantic flirts, getting you stuck because you are not a boyfriend and girlfriend frame. When you brute force it with NOS or alcohol, you create Stockholm Syndrome in her, where the hostage will side with her captor. For every girlfriend they got, it was through alcohol maxing. When they can't get her to drink, they retarget her later on. Other times they were hanging out through social circles, then using alcohol. This is Stockholm Syndrome. Once they drink and have sex through brute force, it becomes Stockholm Syndrome. She sides with the captor, which they call a retention game, or what I call sociopath game. It's not about emoting or more emotions, but Stockholm Syndrome game. But my students gets girlfriends through social skills, social calibrations, and emotional control instead. Neuroscience, maneuver, sexualize, and objections looping. They close ethically without alcohol maxing for my John Elite students. When you look at my John Elite in fields, the ones with the lay picks and stuff in it, what do you notice about all of them? They only use the neuroscience, maneuver, sexualize, and objections looping. With such low SMV and such a shitty car, my 5'7" yellow Asian body, and average looks, plus a very tough race course in Vancouver. The only thing that works is that maneuver, sexualize, and objections looping. That is my John Elite conversion mechanism, the one that is the most transferable. In the past, during 2022, social calibrations was enough. In 2023 and beyond, even in 2024, you need the neuroscience. But the difference is my conversion mechanism is ethical. You deal with her logical left brain by being chill for emotional control, flirting when she talks more to deal with her right brain for her emotional side, social calibrations for body language, which builds attraction gradually without gamey techniques to spike attraction up the emotions, which quickly fall back down. The better they get for the neuroscience tip of the arrow, which includes maneuvering her around, sexualize it to the max at some point, and objections looping that sexual objection until she says yes. Dealing with the sexual objection in the bedroom deals with her left logical brain, not just spiking emotions on the right with stupid dumb romantic flirts which gets you stuck. The arrow body is using social skills, social calibrations, emotional control which extends the arrow body to support the arrow tip, for the feather on the arrow to help guide it better. The fashion and hair and V-shaped body is the spoilers of the car, and body kit of the car to make the car go faster and more aerodynamic to win the race. You don't want to be overweight where it weights down the entire arrow. Also, you don't want to be super skinny with narrow shoulders, that V-shaped body, since it won't have penetrating power to get that leg, along with the driving skills. All this without cheating using NOS or the alcohol crutch. So I don't need a boot camp to get you past the finish line. If my John Elite students can drill down the steering, braking, basic skills through Elite 30 and Kaizen, or in other words, social skills, social calibrations, emotional control, they don't need to cheat and pay that much for an unethical boot camps. Besides, that would only limit my lay testimonials, since I can focus on more people at once. As the best day game coach in the world, you don't need to worship the strong soldiers that does war crimes like other dating coaches. Why not learn from the general? The general needs to win the war for their students, metaphorically speaking. That is my job. You don't have to worship me unlike other dating coaches, who requires you to submit to authority like SHEEPS with their student in fields, not showing you their alcohol crutch or conversion mechanism, which is not proof, just evidence. The moral of the story is why you don't worship sociopathic mentors. I can teach you online for day game and get more than 15 times the student results they have, getting you laid, compared to other unethical day game coaches, since my stuff doesn't require this NOS alcohol conversion mechanism bootcamp. Without depending on a crutch, my day gamer courses work by skill maxing. Why don't you go with what gets you across the finish line? The better car manufacturer, which is me. You should not worship mentor mentality like if he can do it, so can you. You never know when you are going to get swindled. You should look at who has the most laid testimonials for day game, which is me. Then double down on it until you get the results. If my students can get laid in 1 to 6 approaches that day, have some resilience and stop procrastinating. Always look at where the student results are. If it is always at boot camps and never their day game products, then most likely that is where you end up. You would be paying over $5,600 not including their courses. For my students who are still getting laid with Elite 30, my most affordable course, of if they need more help with Elite Bundle 1 or Elite Bundle 2, you don't need other dating coaches boot camps. My students don't just get laid once, like their alcohol boot camp. Mine gets laid over and over again, adding more laid testimonials to my 600 laid and pull testimonials for day game. Train with me. Are you my next laid testimonial? Take a risk on yourself. Invest in yourself. I can get you laid without a boot camp, even if you think you can't do it yourself. You have me here, General John Elite, overseeing a dozen students at a time.